people, welcome back to another video. Hope you're doing good. Thank you so much guys for tuning in. If you're watching me for the first time, you're highly welcome, and for my returning subscribers, you are also welcome. We're going to be making this pencil short dress. So this is what we're going to be making today. I'll be adding 2 steps of gather to the down part. For this video, we'll be needing 2 yards of African print. The white is less than ½ yard. I'll be using this for the collar. We start by folding our fabric into 2. I'm cutting out the front and the back together. I used the hip measurement to cut out the fabric, and I added about 2 inches allowance to it. The dress length I'm working with is 38 inches. I'll be using 5 inches for the gather. The first gather is 5 inches and the small one is 3 inches. I will minus 5 inches from 38 inches. 38 minus 5 is 33 inches. I will use 2 inches for sewing allowance for the bottom and the upper part. That's 35 inches. So this is the front panel. It's folded into 2. This is the back. It's folded into 2. The back here is 1½ inches bigger than the front one. This is where we insert my zip. So we'll go ahead and place the measurement. Our shoulder measurement is 14 inches. Divided by 2 is 7 inches. I will add ½ inch for sewing allowance. And mark 7½ inches here. So I'm taking 2½ inches for the wideness of the neck. The back depth is 1 inch, while the front depth is 3 inches. I will use my curve roller to connect the lines. This is the back neckline, and this is the front neckline. So I will go to the shoulder side and mark 1 inch for shoulder slope. I will connect the shoulder slope to the neckline. So right from this shoulder slope, I will place her armhole measurement. Her round armhole measurement is 16 inches. Divided by 2 is 8 inches. So I will look for the midpoint of this 8 inches, which is 4 inches. And we curve it like so. This is the back armhole. Then right on this midpoint, I will come inside by ½ inch. This is the front armhole. You go inside ½ inch for the front armhole. So I will make a line here. This will now be the chest line. From shoulder to her waist is 16½ inches plus sewing allowance. From waist to hip is 8½ inches plus sewing allowance. So I'm not adding that to it since you don't want it with that. So I will place the circumference measurement. Her bust measurement is 37 inches. Divided by 4 is 9¼ So right on this place, I will mark 9¼ I will add 2 inches for sewing allowance. Her waist measurement is 31 inches. Divided by 4 is 7¾ We'll take the measurement right from this place. The zipper allowance is not included. So I'll mark 7¾ here, and I'll add 2 inches for sewing allowance. The hip measurement is 42 inches. Divided by 4 is 10½ inches. I will also mark 2 inches for sewing allowance. So this is the length of the dress. Okay, this is the hip line. I will measure what I have here. I have 13 inches here. So I will go to the down part here and minus 1½ inches from 13 inches. So 13 minus 1½ inches is 11½ inches. So I'll mark 11½ inches here. If you don't want it too curvy, you can minus 1 inch. It depends on how curvy you want your dress to be. Go ahead and connect the lines. Connect it from the bust to the waist, and from the waist to the hip. twist, I will bring it down to the down part. So I will go ahead and cut it out. I will cut out the back neckline first. I will cut out the front neckline. So we'll go ahead and cut the down part out. I will split the back side open. So it's at the back and that's the front. So I'll set this aside. We'll be cutting out the sleeves. I'm cutting a short sleeve. So the sleeve length is 9 inches. I will add 1 inch for sewing allowance. That's 10 inches. The armhole measurement is 8 inches. I will add 1 inch for sewing allowance. That's 9 inches. So we come down by 3.5 inches here. Still mark 9 inches here. This is the midpoint. I will just take it right from here. Her round sleeve is 12 inches. Divided by 2 is 6 inches. I will add 1 inch for sewing allowance. That's 7 inches. So I'll bring it down from here to make it 7 inches. I need to join the bodies together before cutting out the down part. So I will go ahead and attach the zip to the back side. My zip is up to here. I will use my zipper allowance to sew it up to here. I will leave about 4 inches unsewed here, because I would like to attach my garter first before closing it up. So right from here, I will stitch up this place and leave this place unsewed. I will use my zipper allowance to attach the zip on this side, then turn it to the other side. So guys, I'm done attaching the zip to the back side. So go ahead and join the front and the back together. I will lay the front and the back against each other, right side facing each other. I will use 1/2 inch to join the shoulders and use 2 inches to join the both sides. Remember, our sewing allowance is 2 inches. So right from the bust line here, I will mark 2 inches here. Sew it all the way to the bottom of the dress. I will do the same thing to this side. After I've done that, I will join the side of the sleeves. I will use 1 inch to join the sleeve. So I finished joining the side together. I've also joined the sleeve. So I hem the bottom of the sleeve and sew the side of the sleeve. So I will turn the sleeve to the right side and turn the dress to the wrong side. I will tuck the sleeve inside the dress. I'll match the side seam of the sleeve and the side seam of the dress. I'll use 1/2 inch to join the sleeve to the dress. I'll do the same thing for the other side. We will now go ahead and cut out the collar. I will measure the neckline and use it to cut out the collar. Let me see what I have here. I just folded it into 2. So I have 7.5 here on this side, 7.5 on the other side. That is 15 inches. So the neckline is 15 inches. I will be cutting out 2 collars. So I will divide the 15 inches by 2. Some of you are still struggling with this collar. I will take my time and explain this color process very well. So I'm cutting out 2 colors. That's 15 inches. I will divide it by 2. So 15 divided by 2 is 7.5 inches. I'll be using 7.5 inches to cut out the collar. That is without sewing allowance. So we'll go ahead and then cut out the fabric. I will first cut out the collar before cutting out the collar stand. Using 7.5 inches for each collars. This is my fabric. I want my collar to be 2.5 inches after sewing it. So I'll mark 3.5 inches here. I'll mark 3.5 inches. I folded it into 2 because we'll be joining the collar together. I will cut out 2 for this side, 2 for this side. We are cutting out 2 collars, but 2 have to be on each side. So this is 3.5 inches plus sewing allowance. I added 1 inch to it. I want it to be 2.5 inches after sewing it. This side is 14 inches. I will fold this 14 inches into 2. When I fold it into 2, this side will be 7 inches. That's the collar point, the side that the collar will point out. So on this side, this is where I'll mark that 7.5 inches. Because I folded this into 2, I will divide the 7.5 inches by 2. So 7.5 divided by 2 is 3 3/4. I will mark 3 3/4 here. And I will add 1 inch for sewing allowance. That is a 4 3/4. So this is the side I will attach to the collar stand. Why I cut out 14 inches for this side, folded into 2 is 7 inches, because this down side and this side can never be equal. You understand me? So this side will be the pointed side. I want mine to be 14 inches. If you want yours to be 15 inches, it's up to you. It depends on how sharp you want this side to be. And this side is the pointed side. So I will connect this to meet this side. So this is the 7 inches, and I will connect this to meet this neckline. So I will go to the midpoint. I will go inside by 1/2 inch. It's either you go inside by 1/2 inch or 1 inch, but I will go inside by 1/2 inch. I will mark 1/2 inch here and connect it from here to meet this 1/2 inch. To make a curve. So I will cut it out. I folded it into 2, so I will split this side open. So I have 2 pieces here. So this is for one side. I will use this to cut out another one. So let me set this aside. And I will be cutting out the collar stand. The round neck is 15 inches. So I will add about 2 inches to it for sewing allowance. That is 17 inches for the collar stand. I'm cutting out 2 collar stand. So I want the collar stand to be 1.5 inches after sewing it. So this is 1.5 inches. I will add 1 inch for sewing allowance, making it 2.5 inches. I have 2.5 inches, and the length is 17 inches for sewing allowance. I'll fold this 17 inches into 2. That's the collar stand. So folded into 2, I'll look for the midpoint. So this is the midpoint. I will go to this side. I will go inside by 1/2 inch. So I will curve it from here to meet this midpoint. So I'll go ahead and cut this out. I don't want to curve it here. I just want this place to be straight. I will attach this to the back side. So I only curve this side. So I will open it up and then split it open. So we have two collar stand. So I've cut out the two collars. I have two collar stand and two collars. I added interfacing on each collars. So one interfacing here, one here and one here. So what we are going to do is to join the collars together. I will join the collars right side facing each other. I will sew the side here, here and here. I will leave this side open. I will do the same thing for this side. I'll sew the upper part, side and side. Then I will attach the sleeve to the dress. I finished attaching the sleeves to the dress. I've also joined the collars together. After sewing it, I turn it inside out, then made a top stitch here. So this is one of the collar stands. Then I made a notch here. This is the midpoint. The right side is facing up. Now we take one of the collars, place it here. Then I will take the other side and place it here. So this is the midpoint. I will take the collar stand. This is the one I ironed interfacing on. So I will place this also here, still look for the midpoint. So the right side of this is facing the right side of the first one. So I will place it like so. So I have ½ inch here for sewing allowance. I will stitch it here to here. So I'm stitching it on this curved side. This straight side will be attached to the neckline. When I get to this place, I will leave ½ inch unsewed. Use this ½ inch to attach it to the neckline. After I've done that, we cut out the down part. Remember I said I'll be adding 2 steps of pleat or gather to the down part. The first step will be 5 inches. I will add sewing allowance, making it 6 inches. While the second step will be 3 inches plus 1 is sewing allowance, that is 4 inches. So to cut it out, I will measure this down part around and times it by 2, because it's either you pleat or you gather. It depends on what you want. So I will measure here. I'll measure here around. So I have roughly 38 inches. So I will times it by 2. 38 times 2 is 76. So I'll be cutting out 76 inches for the 5 inches. This is the 5 inches. I added sewing allowance to it, making it 6 inches. So the wideness will be times 2 of this down part. Times 2 of this down part is 76 inches. So I have 76 inches here. This is the first step. And the second step is 4 inches plus sewing allowance. So I will still cut out 76 inches for the wideness of this 4 inches. So what I will do is to join both of them together. I will use ½ inch to join them together at the upper part here. The small one will be on top of the big one. So I'll use ½ inch to join them together. I'm done attaching the collars to the collar stand. I will trim this excess fabric out. So I will turn it. So I'll go ahead and attach it to the neckline. I will start from the back side. I will take this plain side. The right side of the collar stand is facing the wrong side of the dress. I will use this ½ inch I left and sewed to attach it here. I'll take it and then bring it to the other side. I'll use half inch to join them together. I will sew this first one, then turn this. I'll use this half inch to cover the first stitch. Now we sew it round also. So after I've done that, I will also attach and then make a pleat to the down part. So I've joined the 6 and the 4 inches together. So I will turn it like so and pleat it here, right side facing each other. I will sew it right from here. As I sew it, I will make a small pleat. I'll just eyeball it. The pleat is not full. You can gather it if you want. Just rough pleat is not neat. I'll make it round this down part. If you like, you can just gather it. Just make little pleat about 2 inches gap between each other. I've finished pleating it. As you can see, it doesn't look like pleating. It doesn't look like gather either. The pleat is not full. And I've also attached the collar to the neckline. If you can add pressing button here, you can still leave it like that if you want. So this is the down part, upper part. So this is the back. Remember, I left this place open before, so after attaching the pleat to it, I closed the place up. This is the back side. So guys, that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching to the end. If you like my tutorial, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up. I will see you guys in my next one. Love you all. Bye.